Today it's hard not to feel a sense of sadness for little Nelly and the place that once protected her memory. The place has now been sold to developers. Soon it will be transformed into student accommodation. Another chapter closed in the name of progress. But while the buildings change, Nelly remains. She lies buried in a cemetery reserved for nuns, a place the public cannot visit, a place where no one can come to quietly pay their respects, leave a flower or say a prayer in her memory. And that feels deeply unfair. Her mother Mary is buried in Cove, County Cork. Her father rests in Dungarvan, County Waterford. Separated in life and still separated in death. Meanwhile, this abandoned convent attracts vandals and neglect. Walls crumble, windows break, silence is replaced by damage and disrespect. And through it all, Nelly remains here, forgotten by most, protected by few. I can't help but feel that she deserves better than this. Perhaps it would only be right for her to be exhumed and laid to rest beside her mother, a place where she could finally be visited, a place where her story could be honoured, not hidden away. Some stories shouldn't be lost to time. Some children shouldn't be forgotten, and little Nelly deserves to be remembered. Not behind locked gates, not in abandoned shadows, but with dignity, peace and love. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just wanted to do this update video, and basically it's in connection with the video I posted last night. If you haven't seen that, please give it a watch and a thumbs up. And it's the video of little Nelly, Ellen Organ, who's buried in the Good Shepherd Convent in Cork City. And there's some new information that has come up that I didn't know about when I done the video at the time. Nelly had a brother as well, and his name was Alfred Organ, and he was a soldier, I believe, and his grave is in the UK, and there is photos of him as well, and I'll add that to the video now. Just the other thing I want to mention as well is there was a segment in my video, unfortunately, last night, and I'm going to add it to this video instead. There's a segment in the video where I show the inside of the abandoned convent, and I kind of update my viewers on the situation with the convent and developers who have bought the building, and it's now going to be turned into student accommodation, I believe. Now, Nelly's father, William Organ, he's buried in Dungarvan Cemetery in County Waterford. And back in the day, when Nelly lived on Spike Island with her mother Mary and her father William, Mary got very sick. She got tuberculosis, I think, and she got very sick and passed away. So Nelly's father was left with all these children, and at the time he was in the British Army. He signed up to be in the army, so that's how they had the house on Spike Island. It was a barracks back in the day, and so he couldn't look after the children. So Nelly and Mary were in the Good Shepherd Convent in Cork City. Now, new information has come up that Niall, who's a viewer and a subscriber on the channel, and it was actually Niall who was a big part of Nelly's mother getting a new headstone in the old graveyard in Cove, County Cork. So a big thank you to Niall. So Niall and the Cork County Council, and I believe the Credit Union, all chipped in together to get a headstone for Mary. So she has a beautiful headstone. Now the twist in this story is that, and I did not know this, only I was updated on this by Niall. Apparently in 1990, Ellen's sister Mary passed away and she was cremated, and her ashes and her urn were interred in the same grave plot as Little Nellie in 1990. So that's something I didn't know. Now, I was talking to Niall, we've been on and off the phone. A lot of people in the comments have answered my pinned comment, I suppose, my question about if they think Little Nellie should be exhumed, which would mean this would be the second time she would be exhumed. And should she be buried with her mother Mary in Cove Old Graveyard? And I have, I suppose, 90% of people on the comments underneath have opted to say yes. Now, that's not up for us to decide whether this should be done or not. But I do strongly believe that Nelly would be better off buried with her dear mother in Cove. It's a very sad story, separated in life and separated in death when you think about it. It would be nice for them to be together. So I'm just out for a little stroll here today while I update you on this information. So it's a big thing to get somebody exhumed, especially, you know, Nelly has been in that grave in the old convent now, I think, well over 100 years. But it would be nice if she was moved to the grave with her mother. Now, will that happen? We just don't know. It's a very big task. There's undertakers involved, environmental health officers are involved. You know, it would have to be done at night time, I'd imagine. Then there's the new thing then that Mary's urn is in there, so that would also have to be moved to Cove as well. I'm interested to know what you think yourselves. Let me know below in the comments. I will be going back there to Cork because there is another area in that old convent. A very sad and tragic story and location there as well. And if you didn't know, the convent was a mother and baby home, and it housed hundreds of women who had children out of wedlock, etc. And back in those days they were very strict, the Catholic Church. So what I was saying is that it's going to be a big task to do it. Niall was talking to the county council in Cork, and they were saying that you would have to get a member of Nelly's family, only one member would do, to sign a document to say they agree that she can be exhumed and buried with her mother in Cove. Now, the other thing as well is Niall, who's on the channel, is a brilliant help. He really is. He lives in Cove, and Niall is in contact with the Organs, which is Nelly's descendants and family members, maybe great grandchildren and grandnieces and stuff like that. And this could cost thousands if we were to go ahead to get Nelly exhumed. Other people have different opinions on it. They think they should, leave her where she is, let her rest in peace. So it's a hard situation to know what to do. My personal opinion is I would like to see her buried with her mother in Cove. I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think she should be in, especially because the old convent is now being sold to developers who are making it into student accommodation. So we don't know what kind of a situation that's going to be. Are they going to keep the place clean? Are they going to do their job around the cemetery, keep it tidy and stuff? Is that part of it? Is there a clause in that? I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't think she ever wanted to be there, Nelly. You know, I really don't. And you know, there's a lot of dark history in that convent. I didn't mention it in the last video, but I have to mention it on this because the next story I'll be doing is connected to that convent. A different story to Nelly. A far darker story. What I mean is the convent and this connection to the nuns.
What about the human rights of these women and children? What about the human rights of all the women and children that went through all the schools and the institutions? You stripped a woman of her basic right.
So Niall actually showed me as well. I only received this last night and I didn't know, so I couldn't add it to the video. But on the day of the unveiling of Mary's headstone in the old graveyard in Cove, Niall met with the family members, the organs and stuff, and they had this beautiful little red box. And inside this red box is a little shoe that is belonged to Little Nellie. And there's also stuff in there as well, like little prayers and other religious items in that box. So unfortunately, as I was saying, I really apologise. The segment of the video that's missing, and it's just a copyright claim for music I used in the background while I was talking. I was explaining some extra information about the convent, etc. So I had to remove a segment of the video, unfortunately, and I had to change a few little bits, which kind of I wasn't happy about. But the video is still up, and I just said I wanted to do this video to add to the story. I'll keep you updated on what's happening, and we're going to try maybe to get the story out to local newspapers in Cork City, radio stations, etc. You know, and politicians or whoever can, you know, come together to try and see what we can do. I think it would be a remarkable thing if she was moved with her mother to Cork in Cove. There was awful damage done to that convent. You know, so people just don't want Nelly exhumed because for the sake of doing it. I think she's in a very bad area. There's a lot of vandalism in that old abandoned convent. There's young people going up there at night time, drinking alcohol, taking drugs, etc. And her headstone is not safe there, and I don't think she should be there. She's buried in a lonely old cemetery in an abandoned convent, which is now really an eyesore, I think. Buried amongst all those nuns, and I'm going to be honest and say it, those nuns had a horrible, horrible way of dealing with people back in the day, and women, and even children. Now, I'm not saying that they, you know, were bad to Little Nelly or anything like that. That we don't know. We don't know the full truth of that, what happened. But I hope and pray that she was in safe hands before she passed away. So I'm going to leave it at that, guys, and that's just some updates and photos I wanted to share with you on the story of Little Nelly, and I'll talk to you all again soon. And we have a little friend here passing by, look.